Like, hey, McConaughey's got a book. Oh, who would be a great guest? Like, I'll never get that guy, but I got to ask. And his book's all about travel. It's all about going around the world. It's like perfect if he wasn't Matthew McConaughey, if he was just Matt Smith, perfect guest. So I emailed the publicist, and then literally less than an hour later, boom, I get an email back. Yes, we'll do it. I just sat down. I was like, oh, shit.
It's going to be a really neat behind the scenes.
And I was like, oh my gosh, this is so weird.
Because something always magical happens.
Wait, what? Did you just make that up? Hey, it's Meredith for Real, the Curious Introvert. Listen each week as I talk with someone new. The topics are as ADD as I am, but they'll inspire you to stay curious and grow.
Big thanks to our location sponsor, the UWF Historic Trust. Hey, Curiositors, it's me, Meredith. I love it when you get curious about podcasting. I love answering the questions about how I find guests and write intros and all of those things. If you're one of those listeners who loves the behind the scenes, this episode is for you. I talk with a fellow podcaster about the interviews that changed our lives. He shares his experience talking with Arctic explorer Mark Wood and Oscar award-winning actor Matthew McConaughey. And if you're curious about my podcasting process, you're likely a loyal listener. So thank you so much for tuning in every Monday. And if you're new here, so nice to meet you. I started this podcast in 2019 as a project to inspire people to choose curiosity over judgment. Each guest brings a personal development opportunity along with their story so you can stay curious and grow. There's no special order to listen to episodes, so just have a look around and hit play on whatever grabs your curiosity. All right, enjoy the show. Some conversations just stick with you. And no, I'm not referring to the late night ruminating torture of replaying every cringy thing you've said since third grade. I'm talking about the ones that make an impact for good, that change your life even. I met my next guest the way so many of us met friends in 2020, virtually. I was researching for my interview with Kinga Phillips when I came across a podcast interview that she did. The podcast was unlike any I had ever heard before, complete with Foley effects and adventure stories that really let you mind travel. I found the podcast's Instagram and sent a message just saying how cool it was. He messaged back, and soon we learned that we had similar podcast goals and appetites to experience the world. He is a writer, editor, photographer, former radio journalist, and member of the Explorers Club. His interview format podcast features explorers and TV personalities in travel and adventure. Today, we're going to reflect on the podcast interviews that changed our lives. Host of the Get Lost podcast, proud Memphian, my pandemic pal, Joe Sills. Thanks for coming on the show.
Hi, Meredith. Thanks for having me. Big fan of the show for a long time, obviously. Since we cut our episode of the Get Lost podcast, it was the start of the pandemic, wasn't it?
Yeah, it really was. We were doing the Zoom coffee chats thing. So.
Yeah. Oh, man. I kind of missed that, but I feel like people are over it now. So, but thanks for the amazing intro. We focus on travel and adventure. If you guys want to hear about Meredith's surf trip to, is Costa Rica?
It was Nicaragua. Yeah, Nicaragua.
To Nicaragua. It's an awesome episode. It's really fun. And she gets into a little bit of mischief, too.
Not too much, but yeah, a little bit. Well, I wanted to start by having you address a possible myth. So true or false? Mm-hmm. Men start podcasts so that they have an excuse to have deep conversations with other men.
Oh, wow. Is that a thing?
I think it is. And that's why I'm asking. What do you think?
That's not why I started a show, but I could see that happening for a lot of people. And it definitely has been a byproduct of that. I naturally have throughout my whole life, maybe because I was a nerdy kid, I got made fun of by other dudes. So I always had more female friends than male friends. And since the podcast came around, I've actually had to have these like pretty in-depth hour-long conversations with other male figures in my life, and maybe like inadvertently that has worked for me.
I think having a podcast is definitely an interesting. It's like a networking machine, right?
Oh, yeah.
There's so many benefits to it, but the two podcasts that you picked as the ones that made the most impact on your life, they happen to be both men. And so can we start by you sharing about the episode that you recorded with Arctic explorer Mark Wood?
Yeah. So Mark's story is really interesting. Years and years and years ago, I used to watch this TV show called Top Gear. If you've seen Top Gear, it's like the British guys that go around the world and have misadventures and stuff.
Yeah, they're pretty funny.
Funny guys. Well, I started watching it in my 20s, thinking like, I'll never go to these places they've been to. I'll never go to Vietnam. I'll never go to the Arctic Circle. Blah, blah, blah. Years go by, and long story short, I end up somehow finagling my way into the Explorers Club. Of which Mark, who is a real polar explorer, not just like a guy that follows people around with a camera, which is basically what I am. He's like a real polar explorer. Like, he's been to the North Pole alone. He's been to the South Pole alone.
Yeah.
He's had harrowing encounters with polar bears. Like, he tells the story of shooting a flare at a polar bear to run it off, but it actually started running towards him. So it's like the opposite thing. So these are kind of people we're dealing with. And I wanted to have Mark on the Get Lost podcast because that is badass, right? Like, this guy's legit. And it turns out that Mark's claim to fame was that he had helped guide the Top Gear TV team to the North Pole at one point in time.
Which is funny because I happened to watch that episode. And so,
oh, really?
Yeah. And so when I was listening to your episode, I was like, wait a minute, this is that guy? Was he the guy that his face was pixelated out in the show?
Maybe. I have a picture of them all there, but apparently it was like him. There was another guide. There was, of course, a whole crew. And he doesn't really talk about it a lot because he's very like environmentally conscious person. And the idea of driving a Toyota pickup truck to the North Pole is, it's kind of cringe.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, you could never do that today because so much sea ice has melted.
Right. Even
in the last 10 years, like, it's too thin. You could never drive a truck on it now in most places.
True. Yeah. He said you can't even do, what did he say? Like, the kind of exploration that he wanted to do, you can't do it anymore because you have to get approval from like rescue teams and they won't approve it because the ice is so thin.
Which is just one dude with a couple of sleds, like with food and stuff.
It's crazy.
So doesn't weigh much, and he's not a big guy. So, it's changed a lot. But Mark comes on the show, and at that point, I had been recording for about 2 years. So it was after the show that you and I cut, and this guy comes on. He's a British explorer. He's like, in my mind, he's like, really big deal. Like, I don't get nervous for interviews, but I was a little nervous that day. He comes on, and the whole episode's about walking alone to the North Pole. And as we're talking, we just begin to have this very in-depth conversation to the point where we do breach the Top Gear subject. And it's sort of like therapy. He's letting out a lot of these feelings that he's had about it and hasn't really talked to people about.
He even said at one point, wow, I feel like I should be on a couch and paying you, Joe. This feels like therapy.
Yeah, and like no one's ever told me that. I'm a great guy to meet at a bar for like adventure stories, but I'm not a therapist. So for me, that like really flipped a switch. That one line, it flipped a switch in my brain about where these interviews can go and what you can really accomplish. Because not just men, but people like don't seem to often take the time to just get base level real with each other.
Oh.
You know, it's scary, isn't it?
Yeah. So
to admit that something you put all your effort into, like now you feel a little weird about it, it's a big step.
It is. So I did not expect you to say that at all. So you're saying the way that interview impacted your life was really because of his disclosure?
Yeah, because this like in my mind, great British explorer who's like a manly man, you know?
Yeah.
And he's don't remember how old Mark is, but he's old enough to be like an older brother to me. So like too young to be a dad, but definitely like older brother age.
Yeah.
And so as an example to me of like, here is this person I perceive to be just mentally tough. Like a person that went to the South Pole and on the way like dropped their iPod in the snow.
I couldn't believe that part because just the other day here in Pensacola was 35 degrees Fahrenheit, and I decided to go for a walk anyway, which I normally do.
That's so brave for you.
I did for me. Thank you for acknowledging that. I really appreciate that. And so I was listening to your episode, actually. I was listening to Mark Wood, which is really hilarious because I wanted to refresh my memory of the episode. And the Wi-Fi cut out or something. And so I couldn't listen to it anymore. I turned around and went home because I was like, it's cold and I don't have anything to listen to. And then I get home and then the part of the interview comes up about how he lost his iPod but kept on. I'm like, well, I'm a wuss.
Yeah. And hey, there you go. Like that, me too. If I try to go on a run and my headphones die or whatever, I'm like, screw this. But he had just got there. It wasn't like he's at the pole. He was just starting, drops it. It's an iPod. It's white, which in hindsight is like hilarious. Right. So he could never find it again, and he just had to listen to songs in his head. I mean, that's the kind of person we're dealing with, like a very, very manly man. And so for him to be open and vulnerable, and it all comes full circle, like later in life, that really changed my outlook, and it made me want to get to know my guests on a much deeper level.
Oh, interesting. So do you feel like you connected with him on a level that would merit further friendship? Like, do you feel like the chemistry was such that would happen, or has that happened?
Yeah. Listen, right now I'm wearing his shirt.
What?
Yeah. He gave it to me. It's like his
oh my gosh.
Shirt. And it's a little less weird than it seems. It actually, like, he ended up inviting me to join his expedition team for a North Pole thing next year.
Why are you saying that so casually? What? That's okay, because in the episode you said, I forget how it went exactly, but there was something about a collaboration of coverage for his 100 exhibition.
Solo 100. Yeah. Expedition Solo 100. Uh-huh.
So are you covering that, or is this thing extra that you're talking about right now?
Yeah, no, I'm covering that. I mean, he was dead ass serious. Like, I'm on the team. There's a patch, like everything, a little polar bear.
Oh my gosh. I feel like we just made a major announcement. That's incredible.
Kind of, maybe. So I needed the shirt to like do whatever, Zoom calls and stuff with potential sponsors or whatnot. But literally, this is the shirt off of his back that he gave me while I was staying at his house in England this year.
Oh my God. Okay. That's incredible. Mm-hmm. That's so crazy.
Yeah, it's nuts. I went over to England in September of this year. So it wasn't that long ago. Gosh, it seems like a lot longer, but it was September of 2021, so a couple weeks ago. And the idea was to hike the full length of Hadrian's Wall, which is this basically 2,000-year-old Roman ruin. It runs for 80-something miles across England, kind of by the Scottish border. So if you want to hike it, it's a couple days.
Right.
You know? So my idea was, well, I'll go to England, and I'm on this expedition team, so I need to meet Mark. I'll get Mark to come with me, because I want a really overqualified team for this hike, like basically through Hobbiton. So Mark's in. And then I got another guest, Raven Todd da Silva, who's a Roman archaeologist based in London. she was going to come and bring a botanist, and like we were going to have the like world's most overqualified hiking group.
I love it.
Yeah. So the plan was everyone meet at Mark's house outside of London, and then we'll go up. But he ended up hurting his leg, so he couldn't come on the big hike with us. But we did spend a few days in this little village in England, right next to like where Shakespeare's from and all that. Just great time.
That's
incredible. And we really did get to be like brothers almost.
That's amazing. I could see why hands down that would be an episode that changed your life. Before we move on to the second episode that had a big impact, are there any other burning thoughts about your what you got out of that interview with Mark Wood? Yeah,
so two thoughts. The first thought is at the end of this Hadrian's Wall hike where Raven and I had spent about a week backpacking through England in fog and mud and crud and, a couple of really nice sunrises along the way. Mark drove up 5 or 6 hours from his house and picked me up at the finish line.
What?
And we drove home listening to the Beastie Boys and Nirvana and The Jam for like 5 hours.
This guy's like your long lost cousin.
He's literally like an older brother. And at the end of that drive, he pulls over to this little church. It's kind of in the countryside in England, and walk in, and you notice that there's something peculiar about it. So we're the only two people in this chapel. It's like a stone chapel, and there's rolling hills around it with sheep and stuff. Not much else. There's stained glass at the end of it, and instead of Jesus or the disciples or whatever in the stained glass, polar explorers.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So really crazy full circle moment where it's just us two in this chapel that's dedicated to polar explorers.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay, that is such a contrast from your other interview that you are about to
dreams?
Yes. Yes. Okay, so his other interview was with none other than Matthew McConaughey. So yeah,
little known actor.
Obscure guy. So tell me, first of all, what was it like when his publicist responded to your request for an interview?
Oh, wow. I think I had to sit down. I think I literally was walking and just checking emails on my phone, walking down the street in Memphis, and I just fired off this email. Like, hey, McConaughey's got a book. Oh, who would be a great guest? Like, I'll never get that guy, but I got to ask. And his book's all about travel. It's all about going around the world. It's like perfect if he wasn't Matthew McConaughey. If he was just Matt Smith, perfect guest. So I emailed the publicist, and then literally less than an hour later, boom, I get an email back. Yes, we'll do it. I just sat down. I was like, oh, shit. It's like this podcast is about to go places I never expected it to go.
Yeah. I loved it. Yeah, that's so amazing. And so how did your interview with Matthew McConaughey change your life?
All right. So something that freelance journalists deal with a lot is imposter syndrome. Most of the time we work independently. We work on an island. Even though you're publishing stories in Forbes or Nat Geo or wherever, you can just talk yourself into feeling like a complete failure, like every day. So an editor doesn't email you back. Something happens where you just get down. And the McConaughey thing was big for me on a personal level because I felt like I had been doing the Get Lost podcast for 2 years. I felt like I had won some awards. That's good. But I wasn't getting the traction. I wasn't breaking through. Like, I just couldn't get people's attention. And to me, the fact that this very legitimate A-list Hollywood actor that perfectly fits the idea of what we're doing, it was so validating. And now, whenever I have an interview, I just feel like I got this, man. Like, who am I going to ever interview that's more famous than him?
Yeah, that is such a good point. Hey, Curiositors, just a quick pause to show gratitude to our sponsors and give you some special deals. I want to officially invite you to take your mind travel to the next level with the Get Lost podcast hosted by Joe Sills. He's a travel journalist who interviews world-class explorers, like the folks you see on Discovery and Travel Channel. Each episode takes you on a new adventure in a new place. I especially like the episode Hostage in the Amazon. Add the Get Lost podcast with Joe Sills to your listen list today at getlostpod.com. If you've got backyard barbecue plans for 2022, but mosquitoes are not invited, I recommend Insect. I've been using their pest control service for several years now. They have a certified mosquito identification specialist on staff, and pollinator care is always top of mind. If you live in the Florida Panhandle or the Gulf Coast of Alabama, give them a call, ensec.net. The UWF Historic Trust. We shoot the show at the Pensacola Museum of History. It not only houses exhibits of lesser-known Pensacola history, it's an event space too. So if you need a unique space in downtown Pensacola for a fundraiser, networking event, or a corporate party, take a look at historicpensacola.org. And if you want to tour one of the 12 museums, get your tickets in person so you can show the agent one of my emails and get $2 off an adult ticket. Get emails by texting REAL to 66866. Now back to the show.
Yeah. I mean, every now and then I get rejected, but like Barack Obama, he said no. Dave Grohl said no. Will Smith, who has a new Nat Geo show, he said no. But all of those people are roughly as famous as McConaughey. Like, they're never more famous.
Right. Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I was sitting in this chair in this room, and it's totally like weird moment. Just weird. You ever have those moments where you're like, how the fuck did I get here?
Yes.
Okay.
A lot.
Yeah. So the day for the interview comes, and it's like a Zoom link, like we just set up. Boom, you click on it, and hey, like he's there. He's on my screen. Same place you are, like, but he's kind of in my living room too. Like he can see my world, and I can see his little office in his world. And he's wearing these literal rose-colored glasses.
I know.
And just like, I guess like my professional hat was on, so even then I wasn't like super nervous in the moment. Although minutes before I was just like pissing myself, you know?
Yeah, I know, because you texted me. You're like, I'm deep breathing and taking a walk.
Oh yeah, I don't think I slept from like the email to the actual interview because it was a few days. But he pops on my screen. He's like, hey, and it's Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah.
And he's immediately diffusing any tension because he's like kind of goofy, setting up his new webcam. He wants like my advice on how to do that. How to like, am I in focus? Am I not? He's moving back and forth. And I'm like, what the fuck? But then I learned something really crucial. I asked him before that we went live, I said, dude, do you like need a quick briefing on what we're doing? Like, do you need to know what to talk about? Because sometimes people do. And he's like, no, I got it. I listened to the show, Get Lost, like, just tell me to go, and I'm going to go. So he had taken the time out of his, like, who knows how valuable his time is, to really listen to the show, get the idea, and in his head, he had crafted this great story about going down the Amazon River and, like, doing drugs and all the stuff that you want to hear about, and he just nailed it.
That's so crazy. I think that episode changed my life too.
What?
Yeah, no, I'm serious. Do you ever have like the voices of your guest live in your head? And I mean that in the most psychologically healthy way possible. But like,
sorta.
Like for example, Kinga Phillips. Every time I see animal poop, I think of her now because she.
Wait, that's great.
I sent her a message for New Year's with shrimp poop because I was like, this is shrimp poop. Happy New Year. But for Matthew McConaughey's interview that you did, I always think about green lights, and I think about less impressed, more involved. That is literally a mantra that I have now because of your interview with him. So I think it's so special when an interview can change a podcaster's life, but it adds another layer of value when it also changes the lives of our listeners and we get to hear about it, you know?
Yeah, that's really meaningful. Thank you for telling me that. So I never know what effect these have on like listeners. But you sent me a couple of great episodes of your show, and I want to talk to you about those. Tell me about Emily Chang. Like, this woman's a badass, like, tech CEO, and she's got this incredible tale of bringing was more than like 15 people into her home.
Yes, I loved her. Her publicist reached out to me, and you know, as a podcaster, we get a lot of those, right? And they're usually not a fit. But something about, do you ever have like a perceiving before you have a knowing? I'm getting a little bit woo-woo here, but like before you know about something, you perceive that it's right, for example. So like,
yes,
it's just, I feel it in my body usually. Like
an intuition?
Correct. Like an intuition. So I felt that was the right interview, like before I even looked Emily up. It was something I can't explain. And then she's the former CEO of Starbucks China. She's currently the CMO of McCann World Group, which is a huge PR firm. And she is Chinese American. She lives in China. She's bilingual. She's very enterprising. Like, she is the breadwinner of her family, which is not a big deal in the United States, but in China, that's not typical. Like, they have just a different family structure. And what that interview did for me is, one, it gave me a relationship with her. Like at the end of our pre-production video chat before we record, I said, okay, great. I think we're good. Do you have any more questions for me? And she goes, yeah, can we be friends? And I was like, oh my God, yeah.
What?
We can be friends. We can be friends.
Are you wearing her shirt right now?
No, I'm wearing your shirt right now. Not his actual shirt, y'all. Like, it's his merch. I should clarify. This is not the shirt off of Joe Sills' back.
I can't fit in that one. No.
Yeah, it's a little different size. No, but what it taught me was that you can be enterprising, adventurous, and philanthropic, excuse me, without having to reconcile those parts of you. And I think for a long time, people would observe me and I would observe myself, and all of my really randomness. You know, I like archery, I like surfing, I like to travel, I speak Spanish, I think I'm going to learn Greek. Tell me about that seashell. I'm kind of sciencey, but I'm also like people-y, which is not, those things don't typically go hand in hand. You know, I love downtown life. I like to dress up in sequins and high heels, but I love to go braless and barefoot on the beach. Like, sometimes people would observe those parts of me and go, okay, but who's the real Meredith? And now
they're saying these things don't add up. They're all a dichotomy.
Yeah. And now I can be like, nah, bitch, it's all me. Because if Emily can do it, I can do it. And it's like she kind of like how your interview gave you permission. Emily gave me permission to be all the things all at once and not have to fit them in any particular order. They can just be, and I can just be. And it was very liberating to know that.
Do you feel like it helps you breathe more when you're in a situation where you feel people just judging you and you're like, breathe, none of that matters?
Yeah, I would say yes, but I don't know that I have, well, A, been around that many people that I would feel like they're judging me. And B, that's probably not my main thought when I'm around people. I don't know. I think I'm...
What's your main thought when you're around people?
Make them laugh.
Okay.
Honestly, that's like my first thing. Like, it's probably just the the actor in me. Like, this is an audition. I'm going to make you be my friend. You know, it's just how I am. So, so I'm probably not thinking about insecurities.
So you're saying that for you, Emily's like more powerful message, aside from being very generous and taking all these at-risk kids into her home at separate times, you know, it's not like cheaper by the dozen.
Right, yeah.
But you're saying that the actual impact from her was just her personality, just the fact that she has all of the different irons in the fire, and like all of that congeals into a coherent, functional, successful human.
Yeah, because it's not common. It's not common to see that. And I think in Chinese culture, it's even less common because assimilation is very important in Asian cultures. And so she, just by being herself, she has inspired me. And that is very liberating.
So have you kept up with her?
Here and there, like on social media, but I've been meaning to have, you know, it's quite the time difference, but I've been meaning to have like a Zoom cocktail with her or something.
I mean, why not? We're all professional Zoom cocktailers now. So.
I mean, I am. So, yeah.
The next episode I wanted to ask you about is sadness versus depression. And you had Dr. Megan Stoddard on to talk about it. She does an amazing job of putting some ideas in my head. Like, I didn't realize that when I like joke, oh, I'm depressed. Like, I'm not really depressed. It's that we don't have the right word for what I feel in English, you know?
Exactly. Yeah, I learned so much from that. And that's another one that is also extra valuable because I had a lot of people reach out to me privately and say thank you. And that just, when I can have a show that is bright, meaningful entertainment, but also makes an impact, you know, it means something. And so personally, I learned that we talked a lot in the episode about spaghetti, not waffles. And it's an easy way to remember that life is complicated and messy, and it doesn't have to compartmentalize itself, and you don't have to compartmentalize it. And then the analogy that she gave towards the end of the episode about seeing a counselor or a therapist is akin to going to an athletic trainer. Some people go after an accident. Some go because they want to take their performance to the next level. Both are going to the same person. And so I always thought like, well, you know, oh, I heard that person's going to the counselor. It must be really bad. Right? I mean, that's a normal thought.
Yeah, like something's wrong. Oh, you're going to the dentist, you must have a cavity. Oh, you're going to the counselor, you must have something wrong with your mind.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it doesn't have to be that way. And when I think about some of the people in my life that I admire a lot, they spend a lot of time working on themselves and working through things. And usually that involves outside help. So that analogy was really like, I didn't have to re-listen to the episode to remember that. Because, you know, when you're in the episode, you know how it is. Like, you're recording the episode, you're there, but you're kind of not. And then you go back and you listen and you think, oh, I forgot that I said that, or I forgot that they said that. That episode, it's like sealed in my brain. And for a lot of other people too.
Did it encourage you to actually go out and talk to a counselor more?
Yeah, I saw a therapist for about 6 months after that. And it was pretty life-changing.
Really? Like, in what ways? What do you not mind sharing?
No. Let's see. What ways was it life-changing? I realized that I felt bad about things I did not feel bad about. Like, I'd had a big career change, and there was a pandemic, and I was like really getting down on myself about feeling down about on myself. And I realized that I didn't need to do that. That obviously my feelings were a normal response to the situation. And that was really encouraging that we can exaggerate in our brains. You know, our minds are a dangerous neighborhood. We should not go in there alone. And I was going in alone. And things were, it was like the shadows were bigger than the actual thing making the shadow. And so to be able to just have an outside person go, hey, you're super normal. It's okay. It also helped me with my career trajectory, combined with the episode with Emily Chang. Truly, I mean, it really, I realized that there is something out there for me that I can do and make a livable wage. I haven't found it yet. It's not going to be on, wherever people go online to find jobs. I've been self-employed that long. I can't remember.
Like monsterhunter.com or what?
Yeah. It's not going to be on that.
I don't know how to get a real job anymore.
Yeah, obviously I don't either, so I can't remember. But yeah, it was really good. So this has been such a fun chat. Thank you for doing this.
Yeah, absolutely. Before I let you go, you mentioned that some of your listeners also wrote in with a thank you about the sadness versus depression.
Yeah.
Do you get some feedback on that? I mean, was there a particular one that stood out to you? Like maybe you're having a bad day and you're at the coffee shop and they screwed up your order and you look on your phone, email, and change your mood a little bit.
Oh yeah. That, the messages that come in are usually, I mean, at this point in the game, like they're usually private messages of people that are in my life to some capacity in real life. They're not like, they're not usually total strangers. I have more of those lately, but at that time I hadn't. And I think the texts that I get, I won't name who they are, but that they were like, girl, oh my gosh, this episode is fire. I just realized that I need to go to therapy, or I just realized that, XYZ, like I never knew about child marriage or forced child marriage in the US, or just anything that I can bring light to. Right. And they're like, I had no idea. That is so meaningful to me. And it just, because people don't know that we as podcasters don't get feedback very often, like pretty much never. It's not like a social media post with likes and vanity metrics. There are metrics, but they're way behind the scenes and they're just numbers. There's no like comments, No,
so vague. Like maybe you get a review now and then, and those are nice. But yeah, that is a lot like freelance writing, because an editor will usually publish your story and be like, "We're live, thanks," and then it's just gone. Yeah. And you post it, and the algorithms bury your shit. Like they know that you're promoting something and you're not paying for it, and they don't want anybody to see it.
Yeah. So it's nice to connect with, other creators like you. And I won't lie, this episode is a little self-serving because it's just fun to talk about stuff like this.
No, I think we should do a group episode with Kinga.
That'd be fun.
She's the unifying. Yeah. And we'll go get like random animal poop and she can identify it.
I love it. I'm in. And I know she's in. I don't even have to ask her. She'll do it. Hey, before we wrap, tell people where they can listen to your podcast and follow you on Instagram.
Yeah, so the Get Lost podcast is available on Good Pods, Spotify, Amazon, Apple Podcasts, pretty much anywhere you want to get that stuff. I will say that I didn't really know the show was going to be so successful. So there's a couple Get Lost podcasts. Mine has a big raven on it. You'll see it. It's the most listened to one. So you can find me, Joe Sills, on Instagram at Joe Sills. And if you want to read about the Hadrian's Wall story, it came out today on nationalgeographic.com. So you can go there and just search Hadrian's Wall. It'll pop right up.
Awesome. Well, thanks again, Joe. That's a wrap.
Yeah, thanks, Meredith. It's really, really good to talk to you. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon.
Thanks for listening. If you loved a couple of episodes of this show, I would be so grateful if you could let others know by leaving a rating and review on Apple Podcasts. Just share where you're listening from and why you liked a certain episode. And if you liked this episode, you'll also like the one where my friend Chris Poore interviews me. That's episode 105. Stay tuned next week for another curious adventure. Talk to you then.